What's up, everyone? It's Wednesday night. It's a big Wednesday night. Look who's back. Did you miss him last week? After 3 weeks in a row, we took a week off. We had the Alpha on, but I had to come right back and bring my co-host back for another episode of Mythic Conversations, a very big episode of Mythic Conversations, because tonight we are revealing the second set of LegionsCon 2025 exclusive figures. Now, we're going to talk all about what we've revealed so far. We're going to kind of, do a little backtracking before we go forward, but I'm definitely excited for tonight, and I'm excited for this time of year. This is, for all the crunch time, for everything that's going on right now, this is an exciting time of year as we can kind of see LegionsCon and Mythic Weekend in our sights.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything going on here at the office is we're just in full swing here. Things are coming off the printer every day. Pieces are getting painted every time you turn a corner in this place. There's always something, there's things I was about to say something I shouldn't have said. So there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely the build up is real right now.
Sure.
It's exciting and it's fun, and it's a lot of work, but in a good way.
So a lot of exciting stuff going on. Let me actually get my slide deck over here, because what we are talking about is LegionsCon, and the first thing that we want to really talk about, I think, today is, I said today was going to be some big reveals. This is something that got revealed earlier today. And if you didn't see this post, this was a shared post between Sideshow Collectibles, Four Horsemen Studios, and LegionsCon. Last year at G-Con, after we revealed the Reign of the Beasts wave, we showed off some things that are coming in the future. And one of the teasers we did was a collaboration that we are doing with Sideshow. And we're incredibly excited to finally be able to let people in on what that is. And it's really cool because we don't just get to reveal it ourselves. We're actually going to get to reveal it with Sideshow. So they are going to be at LegionsCon this year. A couple of the team members that we've been working with for Sideshow will be at the show. They're going to be set up at the show. Really excited to finally be able, after all this time, to kind of pull the lid off of this and let people see what we've been working on with them.
Yeah, I mean, this one couldn't be more excited about this collaboration that we're doing with Sideshow. I've been a fan of Sideshow for years. We've worked with Sideshow in the past. They're an amazing company. The product that they do is just impeccable. So, for us to be doing a project with them is just really next level for us, next level for Legions. It's really cool. And the fact that they're going to be there, to celebrate this with us at LegionsCon is going to be amazing.
Special. Very, very special. So LegionsCon, as you can see by the slide we have here, it says November 7th to 9th. LegionsCon is technically the 8th and the 9th, but really we added all 3 days because I was going to say the party starts on Friday, but the party starts on like Tuesday, actually. Like, people are coming in. They're like, I think I'm going to come in on Monday this year. And I'm like, what are you coming in on Monday for? But that's what happens. But, I mean, Friday the 7th, that is the G-Con broadcast. That is when we are live from the Hanover Marriott in front of a live studio audience. We're also presenting here. We're live streaming on these channels to let people see kind of what we've been cooking up, what our big G-Con wave of the year as our flagship wave. So very excited for everything LegionsCon. We're definitely going to be talking a lot about LegionsCon tonight because of the figure reveals, but wanted to just address this a little bit. I'm gonna move on so we don't spoil anything, so we don't say anything else about Sideshow, because really want to say more. But stepping back a little bit, so I joked earlier that you've been on for with me for a number of weeks. We've had a lot of reveals. A couple weeks ago, I'm actually sitting right here, revealing this year's Legion's Armory experience, the Legends of the Colosseum. So this was an exciting thing. People that enjoyed the Armory experience last year, this year they get to be a part of it again. They get to experience this. Very exciting. This is, one of the things you can do at LegionsCon. I know we've said before that LegionsCon, it's kind of like going to a theme park, right? Like if you go to Disney, you have to decide what you want to do first. Like, do you want to get in line for the Haunted Mansion first? Do you want to ride, the Tiana, boats? I can't remember the name of it is. I wanted to say Splash Mountain. I know it's not called that anymore. It'll always be Splash Mountain in my head. But the larger point is you got to pick and choose. And this is one of the things that you can choose to start with, certainly, the Armory experience. Reaction so far, since we revealed it, has been super, super positive. People are using that kind of Armory helper that Kirby did to plan out their builds. And I think this is going to be one that people are very, very excited for.
I feel like this one's honestly a little tougher to visualize what your build is going to be, because there's so much variety in the color and the part. So having a tool like that is almost a necessity, I think, this time around. So that's great.
Absolutely. Now, another thing that we revealed a while ago is the Tale of the Crossroads figures. So these are the figures that are the first group of exclusives that we had shown. And to kind of answer some questions, what these figures are, there are two different figures. So there are 4 characters. That slide I just showed had all 4 characters: the warrior, the nymph, the churel, and the revenant. But what it is it's 2 separate figures. So what you can see here is the loadouts. You've got the warrior with the parts to make the revenant on the left, and you've got essentially the churel with the parts to make the nymph on the right. One thing that we've done in past years is we had like a day 1 LegionsCon exclusive and a day 2 LegionsCon exclusive. And we're not doing that this year. We always did it because, we do a lot of toy shows, right? And typically the last day of the show, the Sunday, is less attended than the previous day. So previously we had said, well, we want to incentivize people to come to LegionsCon for that last day. So let's make sure we have an exclusive that's exclusive to that day. As we've discovered, we don't have to incentivize them to come on Sunday because they stay through Monday.
Right.
They're there Monday morning when we wake up. So what we figured was, what? We're going to make these figures available all days of the con. That way, if for whatever reason you can only come one of the days, you're not being shut out of one of the exclusives. So these are 2 separate figures. They're going to be available both days of the con. That, I think, is very important. And, one thing I'll do right now, look what I got.
Nice.
So talking about them being 2 separate figures, these are actually the con versions of the figures. You can see that they've got the LegionsCon logo on front. They've got, they're packaged as the nymph and as the warrior. And similar to what we did for the Furious 4, where we packaged 2 of the figures, that was a 2-pack, but we packaged 2 of the characters in the LegionsCon version and 2 different characters in the standards. We did something similar for these as well. So if you wanted to have all 4 of them displayed boxed, you'll be able to do that by getting both these and the other ones. Very cool. So all this artwork by David Williams. Really, really like how these lay out. These are, I think, super cool and very different looking packages.
Yeah, definitely. It works with the entire concept behind these characters and the theming that goes along with them, having that different look on the packaging and the grayscale art, it ties it all together well. And of course, I mean, that art is killer.
Very, very cool. So that's what we've got so far. And that leads us to tonight. So tonight we're going to reveal the remaining exclusives for LegionsCon 2025. And a lot of people are expecting Cosmic Legions tonight, because Cosmic Legions, alongside with Mythic Legions, those have been our two main lines for the last few years. We love Cosmic Legions. Actually, right now, Cosmic Legions Ox Crew Wave 1, those are arriving in fans' hands. And I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of the reactions, but those reactions have been incredibly positive. People are loving the Ox Crew armor. They're loving Uka. They're loving Kern Ray, the skate back. I mean, really across the board, we're getting really, really great feedback on this particular wave.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have felt for so long that's a wave that really needed to get into folks' hands. Yeah. It's just the chunkiness of the Ox Crew armor, the weirdness of the skate back, I don't know. It's just that you have to have them in hand and play with them, pose them. And so I'm excited that people are finally getting them, and, very happy to hear that is the type of feedback and reaction that we're getting. Yeah.
So when we were talking about this year, we were looking at Cosmic, and something you just said is very important. We wanted to make sure that these figures got into fans' hands. We also have really big plans for Cosmic Legions, but it's kind of like the right time, right place type situation. Right. Cosmic's been a little quiet this year, but that's because there's a lot brewing. There's a lot going on in the universe of Cosmarium. So when it came time to LegionsCon, we said, okay, well, what are we going to do for Cosmic Legions? And we stepped back and we said, well, as much as we love Cosmic and as much of a presence as Cosmic is going to have at LegionsCon, it's not the only line that we're promoting right now. It's not the only new line that we have under our belts. And there's a line that we've been promoting recently. There's a lot of buzz about it right about now, and that's called Legacies of Mythos. So Legacies of Mythos is, of course, something that we were on here talking about just a few weeks ago, revealing Otho and Urzak. We did the in-stock drop for those. They sold out in just over 4 hours, and the pre-order for those are up right now. So when we were talking about this last year, we said, it's going to be great to get Legacies of Mythos in fans' hands. And I've seen a lot of people saying, I wonder how long it's going to take before we get the second wave of Legacies. It's going to be at LegionsCon, because we're dropping another wave of Legacies of Mythos at LegionsCon. So let's get into that. Let's talk about that here. And we've kind of already teased it a little bit, right? Yep. So anyone that's got the Legacies of Mythos, and by the way, we're looking at the chat blowing up right now. When I brought up the Cosmic Legions logo, I saw someone, it might have been Terrence, say, time to subvert expectations. Yeah, we do like to do that. But so this is the back of the package. The back of the Legacies of Mythos package has these two other banners there. And I think some people thought that maybe they were like a mistake. I remember even Joe reached out to me at one point and say, hey, Jeremy, I think we painted the wrong faction logos on the back of the package. And I said, no, those are teasers. And then he's like, oh, dude, and he knew the figures, but he said, that makes total sense now. Those were a teaser for Wave 2. So we've got an Order of Aetheron, and we've got a Congregation of Necronominus. I say we start with the Congregation of Necronominus. We look at that one first. And one of the things for like Legacies of Mythos is not only I'm gonna check that. Yeah, star that one right there. Not only do we want to do figures like Otho and Urzak that are so important to the story that we want to get them back in fans' hands, but we also look at figures that were like, man, I'd love another crack at that character, because with the new parts that we have, that's a character that I could really do. So for these LegionsCon figures, and by the way, we're going to talk all about availability outside of LegionsCon and all that stuff towards the end of the show. But for this particular figure, we said, what characters do we want to do for LegionsCon? And we didn't want to do like A-level characters like Otho and Urzak. We wanted to do characters that were a little more unexpected and a character that we really felt that we could do something cool with. So the first Legacies of Mythos figure from Wave 2 is, I saw a bunch of people guessing this in the chat. Yeah, this is Scaphoid 2. So Scaphoid is a figure, an important part of the story. He was one of the representatives at the Convocation of Shadow. He's a character that personally, when I first saw the original Scaphoid from the Covenant of Shadow wave, wasn't a figure that I was super enthused for, but like has happened so many times, when I got it in hand, instantly became probably my favorite in that wave. I love that figure. I think I have like 12 of them in my collection. But there was always something about Scaphoid that bothered me. And it's, again, early in the line, to do a magic user, we only had those big, like heavy armored parts. So this one is really cool because we got to go back and rethink this figure using some of the more mage-like parts that we've got here. So talk to us a little bit about what we're seeing in this.
I mean, exactly what you said there. Like, we are, well, you know what? I'm actually not even going to say this because I was going to say another character that probably tips too much of a hat. But, you know, the magic characters, were problematic for exactly that reason you said. You know, we had a lot of armor. We had a little bit of, tunic type parts. We didn't even have the expressive hands in the early days to cast a magic spell. So to go back in now and use parts that we have to give him more of a sorcerer spellcaster type of a look. He's got the leather boots, he's got the leather gloves. As I said, he's got the hands that can cast spells. He's got a magic effect. Killer some soft goods on this, which I think those leather belts with that tunic really plays up that that kind of sorcerer look. And then of course the head is brand new here.
That's important. Don't gloss over that.
Oh no, it's more of a best for last.
This is the first time that one of the LegionsCon figures has had a brand new unreleased part. The fact that you went in and sculpted this, look at that.
I mean, we had to. And that's again because I'm talking a lot about like the magic users and kind of parts that tell that story. One of the things too is if you look in that first wave, Tibius, Malleus, into the later waves with Scaphoid, they all just had the same skull. So which was perfectly cool, but this is the opportunity to tell a little bit more story with these characters. And although he still looks like Scaphoid, I mean, there's no question that this is Scaphoid. Now he's got this skull with these carved magical runes in it. That again, I think it's a very instant read of what's going on with this character. It's a magically imbued skull. For skeletons that are already magically, resurrected. So he's just magic to the next level.
And those are, as you just said, those are sculpted in.
Yes.
This was a fun project too because Eric Miller painted this, and Eric Miller has said before that Scaphoid is one of his favorite characters, and I'd heard him say that. So when we did this, it was a lot of fun to assign this to Eric, and I remember him seeing the render, thinking that he had to paint all of those runes on because he assumed it was just a standard skeleton head, and when we said no, those are all like a brand new sculpted head. Those runes are right there. He was super excited. And I think everyone's going to be super excited to get that brand new head that really reads as Scaphoid here. A couple more shots of the turns, like you mentioned. We've got the leather boots, the leather gloves, and we're going to look at some other pictures. But that first photo that we actually showed, you can see that this has got the skeleton upper legs with then the skeleton knees that go into the leather boots. Actually, a part that's been in our library for quite some time that we just never had used.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've actually used it. So even though it's not new in our heads, it's brand new to the line and to what we're showing off.
And that's another, like, in some ways it's a very small detail, but I love that. Much like we've introduced that armored knee section that allows an armored build with leather boots on it. It's the same thing here. Like it's got that really, iconic fantasy character type look with that combination. I always just love that look.
But even like looking at this picture here, like those bits and bobs hanging off his belts, the little skull and those potions and everything, like having all of these parts. I mean, this is a textbook reason why we wanted to do Legacies, to be able to add elements like these to really flesh out these characters and build on their designs.
Absolutely. I mean, this is where, every year, or, every wave, but especially every year at GCOM, we're introducing a new wave. We're talking constantly about the parts library and how excited we are to add these new elements. And it takes a long time, often years for those to actually show up in the line and be at our disposal for a figure like this. And this is where, these parts, many parts here going back to we're back.
And we're back.
But yeah, I mean, that, if we're trying to tell the story of a sorcerer skeleton, now we've got the tools to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go forward a little bit. And I do have the Joe Cam set up. Well, I don't have it set up. The Joe Cam is set up. So he's over there. He's going to show us some pop and swaps with these as well tonight. But before we get to that, I'll read the bio that we have here. Once a power-hungry archmage who oversaw the study of similarly minded magic users in the remote enclave of Caramore, Scaphoid and his followers fell victim to their own hubris. Thinking that they could master death itself, they foolishly attempted to summon Necronominus from where he had been banished. The plan backfired, and while the Lord of Death did not appear, a blast of necrotic power beyond measure came through the portal that they had opened. The magic users were killed instantly, but within moments they all rose again. Life somehow returned to their bones, which now seeped with the remains of the spells they had practiced and the magic that had felled them. Even in death, Scaphoid remained hungry for power and influence, and so he led the fallen mages of Caramore to the Deadlands, where they pledged their fealty to Necronominus. Rising quickly within the ranks of the congregation, Scaphoid would eventually be chosen to represent this faction in the meeting of the Legions of Dark called the Covenant of Shadow. So, like we did with Urzok and Otho, we wanted to take their original bio and just kind of expand on it a little bit. And I think that's what we've done here with Scaphoid.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was, I don't think we knew at the time when Covenant of Shadow came out how that part of the story was going to circle back down the road and become such an important piece of the lore. And this is a cool backstory for Scaphoid that goes beyond the Covenant of Shadow part of his story and actually, really, I mean, it gives us an origin story, and then also, that brings us some new elements into the fold that, we may explore down the road.
Well, one element it brings in that I'm like super kind of geeking out about is this remote enclave of Caramore. So, as many know, I started my relationship with Mythic Legions and Four Horsemen Studios as a superfan and a customizer. And I mentioned that I had a lot of Scaphoids in my collection. They're all customized, and I almost like took inspiration from kind of like, the ghosts under the mountain, the Oathbreakers in Lord of the Rings. Wanted to create a bunch of characters that would go together as a group. So I just painted up a lot of different characters as Scaphoid. I even posted a YouTube video about how to paint that Scaphoid that a bunch of people have used over the years, and others have taken and run with them themselves, carrying that torch for Scaphoid. So I called my group of Scaphoid followers the Ghosts of Caramore. So when we were writing this and I threw that in there, I told you that, and I said, hey, this is something from my old custom bios. Can I make that canon? And you were like, yeah, that's totally cool. So for me to be able to put that into this bio and this lore in some like little way is super, super cool for me from a fan perspective.
Nice. That's
awesome. Love it. Now, but on that note of his followers and the Ghosts of Caramore, there was a comment earlier from Dorklear that said Scaphoid to go with those heads in the Crossroads packs. And you know what, Bill? I knew I liked that guy. He's reading our mind, because in those Crossroads sets that we did earlier, that we revealed earlier, we actually threw in these zombie heads that are painted in Scaphoid colors. And we were, once again, giving you a little bit of a teaser of what was coming. These were very intentionally added in those colors. So if you get extras, you can use these. You can put these on your Scaphoid figures or your extra Scaphoid figures to build out your Ghosts of Caramore. Joe's going to show us some of that. But before we get to that, we will show you, while these figures are going to be available at LegionsCon, and there will be a standard version, the LegionsCon version will have some bonus parts in it. So the bonus parts that are available in the Scaphoid set will actually allow you to build out one of his followers, in a pretty cool one, because that Tuperculi head and those bone wings, those will be available in the green Scaphoid colors only in the LegionsCon set. And in this particular one, you can also see the tunic soft goods removed, so you can see what's under it there. So what you're seeing here, those are the parts that are only at LegionsCon. This is the full loadout you get. So you've got the Scaphoid figure. It does come with two heads. So it comes with that original skeleton head and the new one with the runes, magic effects, the dagger with the scabbard, the mace, the magic staff, belt, hands, little kind of belt pieces. Really, really loaded out figure. And just for clarity, those parts that I've highlighted here that have the Tuperculi skull and the wings, those are what's exclusive to the LegionsCon edition. So very excited about this one. You know what? I'm going to stop talking for a few minutes. I'm going to catch my breath.
Okay.
Joe, are you ready to show us some cool stuff?
Sure. Got a whole bunch of goodies over here. So we're going to start with the OG Scaphoid. I know I have a few of these in my collection, but yeah, this was easily one of my favorites from the start. We're going to go ahead and toss in our new version of Scaphoid with soft goods, with the extra magic tchotchkes. Of course, soft goods are wired. We've got a dagger and sheath. Oh, that's right. Let's not block the view. Dagger and sheath there. We have our raven skull, our potions, a bunch of bones, this really awesome carved head. That's really, really fun. Lots of detail in there. And of course, our extra sets of wings. Really happy to get these back. They go a ways back into the older waves, I mean. And our Tuperculi head. I'll take this in every color. Yes, please. But of course, we got some swaps. So let's check these guys out for a moment and put him off to the side. What's underneath the soft goods? Well, full Valiant Knight chest plate. That matches the armor color from the original Scaphoid. So if you want to, like I've done here, take your old Scaphoid armor parts, and put them on that torso. There you go. And then we also have the head from the Revenant Warrior. So that's an awesome kind of swap you can do with those 3 figures. And of course, excuse the printer noises. And of course, with the nymph figure comes with this head. So you could have your own kind of evil sorcerer going on there. Here's another swap with old Scaphoid and new Scaphoid armor. So that's about as fully armored as you can get with this alternate skull. So these are a lot of fun. We really paid attention to those colors. Eric did a great job of matching those. There we go. He's a little wobbly. He's had too many potions tonight, excuse me. And of course, what I'm most excited for is this bad boy. You really turn your older Scaphoids into a real beastie of sorts. Yeah, really happy to have these parts spruce up your older figures. Yeah, if you have a couple extra Scaphoids and you want to update them a bit, these 4 figures all together can take them a long way. But yeah, we're super excited for these. Really happy to have a whole new batch to mess with. And alternate green skeleton and ghoul parts.
Excellent, Joe. Thank you so much. We'll bring Joe down. We'll kind of go back here. Any final thoughts that you want to share on Scaphoid?
Just very excited about, going in general. This is what I love about Legacies, is just going back and revisiting these characters that we've known and loved for so many years. And sometimes in a case like this, like, he's really reimagined, just to bring him up to what his full potential's always been. And so, looking at this full loadout and all of the the magical equipment that he comes with, and I'm just, this is a great example of what we can do with Legacies. So, after the first wave was such a success, like, to me, it's like, okay, can we follow it up? Yep. And I feel like this is a good follow up to that first pair of characters.
Well, it's cool too, because we knew that Legacies was going to hit and people were going to be very, very excited for it. So being able to follow it up so quickly with another offering, I think that was exciting to be able to do.
Yes.
I mean, to be able to do it also as part of LegionsCon, and they will be available outside of LegionsCon, but that was exciting. And I love this comment. It's really cool this figure can be used to update your old Scaphoids. And that was part of one of the things I loved about wrapping in the Ghosts of Karamor, is that if you have that old Scaphoid, it actually provides some variety if you want to build out Scaphoid's kind of group of these magical followers. It gives you other sets of, armor and looks and everything that you can do. So to me, this legacy doesn't replace necessarily your old Scaphoid. Yeah, this is going to be the Scaphoid in my collection, but that like dozen other Scaphoids I have there, they're still going to be there. They're just going to have a couple more ghosts that join them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, even on top of that, where here you've got this ability to kind of build out the team, so to speak. I've already seen people posting images where with their Urzok and their Otho, where they're taking some of the new pieces and putting them on their old parts, or taking a couple of the old parts and mixing them onto the new parts. And that's an exciting element of this too, is that people can really mix and match those two to create their ideal version of the characters. Even this one, as simple as if you sold completely love your original Scaphoid and love the armored look
Yeah.
over the the magic look, you could just take this rune head and pop it on that character, and that's a huge upgrade on that original figure, just with that head swap. So there's a lot of a lot of opportunity for creativity and for customizing with these that I think goes well beyond the the offering itself.
And even if you get the because the con exclusive is going to have the tuberculized skull, but the non-con exclusive, the standard's got the 2 skulls. And even if you get the non-con version of the Crossroads figures, the female character, that zombie head is actually standard. The zombie head with the teeth that's part of the male set, that is an exclusive, but there is at least one of these extra heads. So you definitely have some variety of pieces that you can use here. Or you can check out that tutorial video that I mentioned earlier, and you can learn how to paint your own. It's very, very simple. Now with that, one cool thing that I want to show is this. So this is a brand new piece of Nate Bartsch art. That was one of the things that we were most excited for with Legacies of Mythos, is getting Nate the time to paint up these portraits of these characters. And this is the portrait of Scaphoid that we did that will appear on the box.
So good.
Good.
So good. Like this is, I expressed my enthusiasm about Nate doing these portraits when we revealed the first 2 figures. And this just, it's just so good. That's all I can say. Like it just, I love just in the 3 that we've shown as of right now, the difference in mood and tone from character to character, and just how fitting he's capturing the energy of each one of these characters.
Perfect.
It's just another killer piece of art that we have now to, do neat things with.
So this is the packaging for the LegionsCon version. So if you've got the Otho and Urzok from Legacies 1, box is going to be very familiar. They're made to actually go all together. They've got the portrait from Trevor Williams on one side. They've got the art on the other side that's got the faction logo. These particular ones will also have the LegionsCon logo and dates on it. The standard versions, as you can see, very, very similar. You're just going to see, obviously this one's got the tuberculized skull in it because that's not in this one. So no logo on the top, but these are going to go really, really well in your existing collection. And then that new piece of art is going to be right on the back there, along with Otho and Urzok.
I was wondering if you were gonna.
No, I'm not gonna show it. Slip up
not on a reveal special.
Not a reveal special. But we probably should show the next one, right? So
I would say so.
So that's the first one. The second one is from the Order of Aetheron, and once again, we've got the teaser on the back of the package. Now, we absolutely love teasers, so much so that when we were revealing the Armory experience a few weeks ago, we showed the picture on the left that was the one of the pre-builds, and we created a bit of an uproar, people all wondering, like, is that a brand new head? Is that a brand new head? And of course, we revealed that, yes, that was a brand new head for the Legacies Urzok. We revealed that a week later. We actually have teased this next figure as well already, but we teased it a while ago. How many of you actually watch the awesome 4 o'clock show that comes before, a few hours before this on Wednesday afternoons? Because it was a little while ago that we showed some videos from the factory that they were, when George and Chris went out there, and they showed these golden dwarf feet. And a lot of people were speculating that these were part of the Legion's Armory experience this year. They obviously weren't part of the Legion's Armory experience, but they were part of LegionsCon, because the second Legacies reveal for LegionsCon 2025, I saw a lot of people guessing it in the chat, none other than the Golden Dwarf Sir Valgard. So this is the figure, and like Scaphoid, this has got some new stuff to it as well, some things that we've had in the library for a little bit, but we're seeing for the first time here. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing with Sir Valgard 2.
Well, I mean, I'll start with it this time. First and foremost, it's a brand new head. So now Valgard has a unique head, and it brings some of those more, modern and specific Order of Aetheron details into his dwarven helm. The balance with these figures is trying to maintain the iconic look of the character while at the same time upgrading the details and bringing that individuality into the piece. And so, it's a very similar shape to the beard and details to the beard. The overall shape of the helmet is the same, but the detailing on it all is updated and new. That's really that's the primary focus of this new figure. But of course, he has a very dramatic look, especially with those flipped pauldrons from Gideon. Gideon had the one pauldron. Now we've got a flipped version of it, which I know, a lot of times people immedially want that flipped version when they get an asymmetrical figure.
Yes.
We've got you covered with this one. And then, he's got a cool combination of parts here. He's got that longer skirting going on. He's got soft goods layered underneath the skirting. Cool sword with a scabbard here. We've talked many times about what a difference a belt makes. So he's got a belt added to him. So he's got, like, he's taking that kind of ornate golden armor look that the original had, and it's really pumped up with that Aetheron detail. He's got those elbow plates with the added Aetheron detail on it. And it just, this was a great opportunity to get Sir Valgard back out there. He's a figure that was limited. He was early. So many people missed out on him. So this one not only gives us, our typical Legacies of Mythos, mission statement here of just upgrading the figure and giving it that individuality and cooler updated detail. But it's really getting, a figure that so many people don't have into their hands, which is exciting.
I saw someone asking, is that the Magnus chest? Yeah, that's the Magnus chest with the Aetherius waist armor, which really gives like a thickness to the dwarves. Because again, when we were designing these really shortly after LegionsCon last year, we didn't have access to all the Rising Suns parts. So a lot of those new dwarf parts, we had to build with what we had doing that brand new head. But getting that, I love the fact that on the Scaphoid, we got a brand new head, and then the first time that we used those skeleton knees with the boots. On this one, we get the brand new head, and the first time that we're seeing the other one of those really ornate pauldrons.
And one of the things I think, you mentioned just with the, the stockiness of putting that skirt on and stuff that I like about this guy is, our dwarves already have a boxy build to them. This with the extra large pauldrons and that thicker skirting going on. I really like that. It brings a different proportion to our dwarves. It's got, that more over the top, huge pauldron look that you see in a lot of fantasy dwarves. So I just like that it's a different dimension that we're seeing here. Just by using a different combination of parts than we might normally use.
For sure. So showing you a couple other things. I know a lot of people are asking about the exclusive parts for this figure. One part that's not exclusive is the secondary head. So kind of a fun throwback to the Necronominous wave. In the Necronominous wave, you decided to give kind of undead heads for all of the heroes with the exception of Gideon. By the way, that doesn't mean those characters are all dead. In fact, we've written a story that takes place after the Second Great War where both Sir Elijah and Sir Ukchak are in that story alive, yet they both came with dead heads. So wait for it. There's a reason why they come with those heads. Doesn't mean that they're not going to make it out of the Second Great War. But in the spirit of that, using this head here to create, another look for Sir Valgard with that dead head, that's a lot of fun as well, I think.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's a great look for one, just from a straight up figure standpoint. But yeah, that tie-in, because there's so much about him that just he would be perfectly at home in that way.
Yep. So let me read the bio for this character. Once again, expanding on what we had previously. As a member of one of the long-lived races of Mythos, the dwarven hero Sir Valgard has been around long enough to see the glory days of Etheros, as well as the fall of this kingdom and its eventual return to enlightenment under Sir Gideon Heavensbrand. A stout warrior who first served under Sir Gideon's grandfather, Sir Gavin, Valgard was knighted by that king's son, Sir Gabriel, just as the younger Heavensbrand was beginning to suffer the effects of a mysterious affliction. Sir Valgard did his best to serve his kingdom, even as Gabriel's illness worsened and Etheros slowly darkened under the machinations of greedy politicians who cared only for their own interests. Never losing hope that the light would one day return to the crown city, Valgard was among the first to join Gideon's quest to reclaim the kingdom of Etheros and drive out those who had led it astray. In recognition of his loyalty and resolve, Sir Gideon named Valgard one of his advisors and gave him command of a company of soldiers known as the Valiant Guard. As loyal and brave as their commander, the Valiant Guard played an important role during the Second Great War as they set themselves against the foul magic of Scaphoid and his ghosts of Caramor. So in that, I love that we're not only expanding on his bio, but we're tying him in to Scaphoid. So we're actually pitting those two together, which makes this wave, kind of make sense. But additionally, just like we got the Ghosts of Caramor parts to build out some of Scaphoid's followers, in this bio, we reference the Valiant Guard, which Valgard, Valiant Guard, it's kind of a play on the Valiant Knight. That was the thought here. And that thought led to the bonus parts that come with this figure you're seeing here right now. So the LegionsCon version of Sir Valgard is going to come with an entire second set of legs, a second set of pauldron armor, a second set of lower arms and some hands, and that helmet. So you can, sacrilegious, all the kings under the mountain are about to say, why would I ever turn a dwarf into a knight? We usually go the opposite way. We turn knights into dwarves. But for those people that may want to turn some of their extra dwarves into knights, these are the bonus parts to make that Valiant Guard. And once again, this is the full loadout that you get here. You get to see all of the weapons and to specifically focus on the parts that are exclusive to LegionsCon. We've highlighted them there.
That's over the top.
It's a loadout. I mean, these Legacies figures absolutely have a lot going on in those packages. And one of the things that kind of we wanted to do with these is we built these, we built the standard versions first, and we wanted to make sure that they were packed out the way that a Legacies figure, the way that one of our, premium figures would be packed out. And then we added a little bit more for LegionsCon. That was really important, is let's deliver value in the standard version, and then let's kind of over-deliver as a reward for the people that, come and spend the weekend with us at LegionsCon.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see a lot of people, if they can pick up one at LegionsCon, getting one of these to make the night, and then coming back later for the dwarven version.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
that's That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
in
lot.
that exclusive version.
It is. And you will be able to buy multiples at LegionsCon. We will get to all of that information in a bit. But first, I think we've got someone who's just itching to show us what he's been working on. Let's go to the jam.
It's all right. That it's just new detergent. Nothing to worry about. So we're starting with our original version here. One of my favorites for the most obvious of reasons. Next to the new one. So as we can tell right off the bat, we have a different color gold, a little brighter. We have the soft goods skirt. It'll flow nice. I think it's similar to the fabric we used on Elithia. So happy to have this guy back. Alternate look with the dead head. Here we go. Scally bone splitter head over again. But it works really nice for this guy. Have with the different pauldrons here, so you can just have another character altogether if you choose. And of course, the Valiant Guard. You know, if knights weren't my second favorite type of character, I may be offended, but this came out pretty nice, pretty nice. So we have the additional set of pauldrons, that Templar version 2 helmet, full set of legs, and the gauntlet, along with a human set of hands. Yes, we did include dwarf hands with the new Valgard. I mean, right there, it looks like 3 different characters. Now 4. I think I saw someone in the chat asking how close the gold matched Gideon. It's going to be hard to tell here, but I will say that it is very close. Gideon has a little bit of a darker wash on his armor, which kind of darkens things up a little bit. But I would say Valiant Guard or Valgard himself is a little bit brighter of a gold than Gideon himself. Could you swap the parts around and make something work? I think so.
Some people are asking about putting the Scaphoid purple soft goods on the knight here.
Ooh,
Yeah, those
you know, that's
absolutely going to work.
That's not a bad idea. I think we may have some time. What's the time? What do we got there?
8:20.
8:20. Yeah. You know what? I think we can knock that out before the night's over. Absolutely. So yes, we got a nice golden group here. Looking forward to building out the ranks.
Thank you, Joe. So back here, a couple more things to go through, and then we'll talk about some of the logistics. So we've got the Trevor kind of action shot that we've got here, the environment shot, fighting. In this particular battle, he's not fighting the ghosts of Caramore and Scaphoid. He's fighting a Tuberculi, but still ready to do some damage with that Warhammer.
Yeah, I don't see much of a future for the Tuberculi there.
I don't think so. And then we already saw Nate's incredible artwork that's appearing on the package. And actually, I can even show that. Bring that here. So once again, we've got let me bring this down. We've got the LegionsCon version of the package, and we've got the standard version. Got the LegionsCon logo at top. These packages are just gorgeous. And then there you go.
Full cross sell.
Full cross sell. There you go. On the back. We do love our cross sells these days. And if you all want to see them side by side, this is what you get at LegionsCon this year. Yeah, these are going to look great. These are going to look absolutely great together. So cool. So cool. By the way, this is the first time I've seen them in package. So that me hugging them, that was like a genuine just kind of reaction
The
to.
other two legacies over there. Is it?
I don't think so. Do we have the other two legacies boxed somewhere? No.
Yeah, but at some point, I want to see all those photos.
All of them together,
lined
yeah.
up on the.
I think Brad may have a set. Check it out.
Nice.
So let's bring this up real quick again. And we'll talk a little bit about the logistics. So one of the things I've mentioned this previously, but to actually put it out there, like for definitively, thank you. All of these figures will be the standard figure price at show, which is $55. So these are not available. We've got the Four Horsemen figure fair. That's kind of like the full store setup. These 4 figures are not available in the Four Horsemen store. These are going to be in what we call the community room. So the main ballroom, that is where the LegionsCon table, Joe Viteri, who runs the show, himself and his team, he will be there in that room running that. These will be available at the show. And as I said earlier, these are not day 1 and day 2 exclusives. These are available while supplies last, both days of the show. 55 each. And as of right now, we're not setting any purchase limits. I think we have enough that we should be able to accommodate people that are coming to the event. So, I know there's a lot of people that like to buy extras of these at the show to hook up other members of the community. We don't want to prevent them because these figures are made that you will actually want multiples yourself. The Crossroads figures, to make all 4 Crossroads keepers, you have to buy 2 of each, right? If you want to make Scaphoid and one of the Ghosts, if you want to make Valgard and one of the Valiant Guards, you've got to buy 2. So if you want to buy a couple for yourself, if you want to buy a couple for, some people back home, we don't want to stand in the way of that. Obviously, if someone comes up and wants to buy 200 of them, we're probably going to have to rethink that. But for people that are buying a reasonable amount, we're not going to set limits on it. So pretty excited about that. And that's feedback directly from people at shows in the past. We've always had enough to supply everyone at the shows. As far as the standard versions of these, so these are going to be available November 8th and 9th at LegionsCon. The standard versions will be available from Four Horsemen sometime in 2026. So these are not going to be like right after LegionsCon, just like we've done in the past. You will have to wait a little while to get them. As of right now, these are exclusive to Four Horsemen. There are no additional pre-orders planned for these. They'll be in-stock sales. But who knows, especially with the legacies, if the demand is there, maybe we'll do another pre-order. As of right now, we've got the run at LegionsCon. We've got the run that's going to be at Four Horsemen. So that's currently the plan for these. LegionsCon in November, Four Horsemen sometime in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, Legacies is so new, a lot is unprecedented there. So, that's the current plan, but play it by ear.
So you wanted to see, Eric,
Line up the.
So you want to line up the side
First, if you want to do the front.
So
A lot of glare, but
yeah, a lot of glare. So these are legacies right here. So we got legacies wave 1 and wave 2. And then as we were saying, so if you position them this way, you get to see, look at how cool that looks on display.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
That's what I think. I want to take them out of the package and line them
Yeah.
up like bookshelf style and put the figures in front. Like that's a great.
And then that side, which is cool as well, especially because it's 4 different factions
in 4 different environment paintings in those. It might be hard to tell over the.
Yeah, that's true. That there are 4 environment paintings within those. That's so cool.
Keep giving me reasons not to want to get rid of the box. That's just fine.
It's hard. It's hard to throw away these boxes because they look so good. Yeah, these are. And again, it bears mentioning, by the way, if you missed out on these, so the in-stock drop that we did last Monday, those have now all shipped out. All of the pre-orders for not pre-orders, all of the in-stock orders for those are now out. These are available until next Sunday, October 5th, for pre-order at storehorseman.com. And, the great thing is because these are ready to go into production, there's no wait for, tooling or anything. The goal is that similar to like what we did last year with the Graveyard Skeletons, where we did a pre-order for something that was ready to go into production, we were able to ship it at the start of the following year, the start of this year. So our goal is that these will be shipping near the start of 2026. Oh, yeah, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So there's another look there. See all the portraits. Good. All the portraits. Oh. It's.
I just noticed on these banner ones that he's got different toppers on the standards on everyone. I think I was so focused on like the ripped up version of this and the faction symbol that.
Yeah, he fully painted like.
Nate's pretty good.
Yeah, he doesn't suck. That's for sure. That's for sure. Joe, did you have something else you wanted to show us?
As requested, I couldn't help but want to see it myself. So there are the Scaphoid soft goods on the Valiant Guard. They look pretty good. I'm really happy with that. But also somebody had made a request, or at least had a question, as to if the Wings of the Gold Skeleton would work on the Scaphoid as well. And of course, this was not intentional, but I just couldn't help but throw it together. Yeah, they'll work. Wow. I think they go pretty good. Of course, it wasn't designed to do it, but you just follow the colors when you're popping and swapping, and you can make some pretty awesome stuff. So, yeah, I'd say that works out pretty good. Uh-huh.
Good stuff there, Joe. Thank you so much. I did see a couple questions in here. So we did answer this, but in case anyone's joining late, will there be a chance to get Legacies Wave 2 for non-LegionsCon visitors? Yes. So that's what we were pointing out, that the LegionsCon version, there's a LegionsCon version, there's a non-LegionsCon version. So the one that's at the show has the bonus parts. It's got the logo on it, but the standard version will be sold at Store Horseman sometime in 2026. So if you are not going to LegionsCon, you don't have someone that's going to pick one up there for you, there will absolutely be a chance to get one after the fact. Someone else already asked, will some of the LegionsCon exclusives be at Store Horseman after the con? So they will not be at Store Horseman, but they may be at Big Bad Toy Store. So Big Bad Toy Store, Viteri Productions is the kind of promotion company. Joe Viteri puts on LegionsCon. He runs the actual logistics of the show. Big Bad Toy Store is, not only one of our longest retailers, but it's Viteri Productions' kind of partner for show exclusives. So when Joe does exclusives at his shows, any extra stock that's available after the shows tend to go to Big Bad Toy Store. That happened with last year's LegionsCon show edition figures. If there are any left after the show, that is where I would expect them to go. Obviously, our focus is on making sure that people at the show have access to them, but we've always had a small amount of extras in the past that have been also available online as well. So we won't know about that for sure until after LegionsCon, but if past years are a judgment, that's certainly an option. Cool. Looking at the comments here, Kirby, wonderful friend. Please know, Jeremy and Eric, that these legacies are a huge success, and great to hear that live on the show. But we've definitely seen that reaction to these figures, not only to the reveal that we did a few weeks ago, not only with the incredibly fast sellout. I mean, that shows us that these things are popular. They sold out in 4 hours, but people getting them in hand have been absolutely blown away. And we're seeing a lot of people that were more excited for Otho that end up liking Urza better, or vice versa. There's been kind of a bit of both. A lot of people excited for all the new parts on Urza and all the kind of rethinking of old parts in that new version. I've seen a lot of people really commenting on that, which I know is one of the things you were excited to do.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, again, that is really what the focus of this line largely is just that reimagining, reassessing, rethinking, not only just the concepts, but the physical parts as well. Mm-hmm. So good to hear that people are getting that and enjoying it.
Mad Demon 64 says, for future Legacies figures, will you prioritize rounding out the roster with one representative of each army, or will you prioritize rare and fan favorite characters? I don't think we're focused on like making sure that every faction is represented as much as we're looking at which characters we really want to revisit, right?
I mean, we are definitely not a group here that does things in a standard way. A lot of our decisions are made on what feels right, what we're excited about, what we think is going to be cool. So it's certainly not about trying to fill out each faction or hit a specific type of character. And it is sometimes it's just like, oh, what part just became available, or that right place, right time, sort of an approach. I mean, in some ways, there's no rhyme or reason to it. At least outside of our brains, but it's ultimately like what are we excited about? What do we think is going to make a great figure to get out to you guys?
Absolutely. Joe, got a question from Dorclair Bill. He's asking, is that Valiant Knight swap that you did with the soft goods, did you use the smaller Scaphoid torso, or did you use that thick Valgard torso?
That was... Is my mic still
on?
Maybe it's
no.
Through. That was the thick Valgard torso.
Okay, so
right over the top. The soft goods are big enough to fit around both.
Okay, so breaking news. That was the Valgard torso. So that was the extra thick dwarven torso that he put those soft goods on top of. So that's actually very, very cool.
It's good to know
that it fit on top of. Yeah, I assumed it was the smaller torso as well.
It has great range, really.
And we are seeing a lot of people make suggestions for other Legacies figures in the comments. I think we agree with all of them. There's a lot of characters we definitely want to redo. A lot of the ones that people are suggesting are ones we've considered. I know a lot of people are curious, because they're loving Legacies and they're curious in terms of how committed are you to this? I mean, we've already got multiple waves planned for Legacy. So this is something that's not going to be a flash in the pan. We were very excited for this line before we saw the fan reaction.
Right. I mean, I would say that this is Legacies is a long-term plan. And I would consider it a slow burn.
Yeah.
We're not, although it doesn't feel that way with how quickly these first two waves are coming together. But we don't want to overwhelm people with this. This is something, again, it's like, doing these when we have the right parts for it, when we're excited about it, when there's a good spot in the schedule for it, so that it's exciting every time. Similar in a way to Figura. Where it kind of remains a little bit of an event every time it happens, and not just something where you're getting, hit over the head with it so regularly that it loses some of its luster.
Dude, that's so good. This is so cool.
I mean, just, I'm looking at it on the screen, but now like seeing it here, it is that that color's popping more. I can see, the runes and the skulls show up more. Oh, I saw one question I did see come up a couple of times on there.
Yep.
The jaw is articulated on this. And there are, even the jaw is new. There's the runes are sculpted into the jaw as well as the upper skull. So you're going to get, two completely different skulls in this pack. A plain and a Scaphoid version.
I remember when we were designing this, like, because it was kind of designed almost like in Photoshop, right? Because when we were putting these together, I didn't have the other version of this, and there was a genuine question whether it would be too bulky. It was like, is all this going to fit? That big torso, the big waist, the big pauldrons, and then like the new head, and it all comes together, and it's definitely a chunky figure. I mean, not Ox Crew armor chunky, but it's got some heft. It's got definitely some presence to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for a character that's short of stature, he has a lot of presence with all that bulky armor.
And this is one, like, the Scaphoid is so easy to see those runes in the head. This is one that the changes in this head are so obvious when you're looking at it, but like, I feel that on camera it's really, it's kind of washed out a little bit too, but it's tough to really capture those sculptural details on it. This is one that I think when people get this in hand and they open it up, there's going to be a bit of a aha moment of like really taking in all those details. Yeah, that's very, very cool. Even some of the side views, I think you get to see it a little bit better.
A lot of times these metallic paint schemes, I just don't think they really hit people the right way until they show up in hand. It's just with all that reflection and the paint and everything, like sometimes that does hide the detail a bit.
Someone asking, any updates on standard versions of the Ninian Infantry and Legendary Barbarian? Well, we've already sold the Ninian Infantry, so that was a LegionsCon 2024 surprise drop, and that is already, I think we're sold out of Ninians at this point. That was sold earlier in the year on the website, and we had it at a number of shows as well beyond that, but it was sold on the website. As far as the Barbarian, what we've said all year is we want to kind of get through our year of shows because it was created to be a traveling exclusive, and then we will put some of those available at Four Horsemen as well.
I always like doing this with the dwarves, like getting them really crouched up.
Yeah.
Like where, actually, yeah, do that. And then just, that height difference, really plays up well there.
Yeah, and he even looks a little taller because these wings are like so tall, but he's nice and stocky like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool figures. So that's what we've got for you tonight. LegionsCon 2025. I will tell you that we are getting to the point where tickets we're just over 6 weeks away. This is the point where those tickets really start to sell. Last I looked, I think we had a little more than 100 left before we hit sellout status. Now we will have tickets available at the door, but they're single day tickets, and they're a little bit more money than if you go on both days, you want to pre-buy those tickets. The reason we have to cap at a certain number is not only for capacity, but also there's got to be a point that we order the badges for these shows. So we've got to order a certain amount. So we will be capping that at a certain point. With the announcement today of Sideshow, with the announcement of these figures, I'm expecting, and the fact that we're getting closer, there to be a bit of a rush. So if you've been holding off on those LegionsCon figures, please do not hold off for too much longer. Get to LegionsCon.com, get your 2-day tickets. As of right now, the hotel, at least the main host hotel, is sold out. We do still have space available at what we call the overflow hotels. They're less than 2 miles down the road. People stay there every year. You can park for free at the LegionsCon hotel during the day. Very easy to make your way over, but definitely don't sleep on it. Get those tickets in. Beyond that, if there's any other questions, we've got about 15 minutes left. Questions for Eric, questions for myself, questions for Joe. Let us know what's on your mind. If you want to know about these figures, Legacies of Mythos, LegionsCon, we're here for all of it. And I mean, now is the point too where, like, we're starting to put together the schedule for Mythic Weekend. Obviously we're deep in the throes of working on a brand new wave. So this is the time when everything is coming together, and there's so much built up excitement. Chris Johnson, the 10 yearbook. So it is at the printer. It has been a more challenging project than I expected. This is the first time that we've ever actually printed a book like this. So it's all issues that are easy to get past. We've just got to get past them. So still in the approval process with the printer, hoping to go to print very, very soon. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to have them in hand for LegionsCon at this point. That was definitely the goal, but as soon as I have a better update for you, I'll be able to answer that. Infinite Legions, yep. We're very hot on Infinite Legions. That's definitely a line that we're doing.
Well said.
I'm not lying. Are we close to a map for LegionsCon? We actually are. I was waiting for Sideshow's announcement today because Sideshow's on the map. So I wanted to make sure that we coordinated that announcement with them before we release the map. I do have the map ready to go. We'll be releasing that very, very soon is right. What are the Armory experience prices? We decided that, right?
I think so.
The Armory experience is exactly the same price as last year. So we were able to make sure that we kept that at the $45 per figure built price that we had it for last year. So no change in that pricing. Last year was $45. This year will be $45 as well. As we said previously, you can get in line for the Armory as many times as you want, but you can only build 2 Armory figures each time through the experience. Is it walkable to LegionsCon from the hotels? It is not, because it's a highway. Like, it's not far. I mean, it's like 1.5 miles, 2 miles. But it's just, you don't want to be walking that area of New Jersey. An Uber is only going to cost you a couple bucks probably to get to and from. Or in past years, there's been lots of actual other people that are at the hotel that are going to the LegionsCon hotel, and I've seen people like hitch rides with other fans. It's very clear which ones they are. They're dressed like this.
It's the beards.
Yeah, there's a lot of beards. Let's see. Intern for a Day invoices will be going out soon. Does LegionsCon get crowded? It does, but it's the entire hotel. Like, literally every room in the hotel is our people. Every piece of the event space is our people. So even though there's a lot of people there, there's a lot of space. We're an entire very large Marriott hotel that we take over. So there's never points. It's not like going to like a massive Comic-Con where you're like shoulder to shoulder. There are points in the main room that it gets a little crowded, but never crazy like that where it feels ultra claustrophobic. This will be my first LegionsCon. Very happy to have you. Can you describe what happens on Friday? Is there a live presentation? Do I need separate tickets for the event? Yes, no. So yes, there is a live presentation. I think there's only 2 questions.
I was wondering what.
There was 3 questions. Yes, no. Yes, there was a live presentation. Every single Friday before LegionsCon, this is like the 8th year in a row, I think it is, that we've done G-Con. So G-Con is our yearly live stream broadcast. We used to do it from Four Horsemen Studios with just, the crew here in the studio live streaming. A couple of years ago, we wrapped in a live audience here. In the last few years, we've actually done this at the LegionsCon Hotel on the Friday. There are no tickets required. The way it works is the show's going to start at 10 a.m. So get there early, get in line. It is first come, first served seating. Those of us who are joining us the day before for intern for a day, they do get first access. They get, access to the seating. But even last year we had standing room. It's a long broadcast, so people kind of come and go throughout the day. If you are at the hotel on that Friday, you're definitely going to want to join us. It's a lot of fun just to be in that room with all of the other Legionnaires and to see what we're presenting.
Yeah.
Who knows what you're going to say?
Yeah, a lot of energy in the room.
Let's see. So Dustin, I just answered the question about G-Con. Chris asking if there will be name tags at LegionsCon. Yeah, typically fans bring like pads of name. Curtis has done that in the past where he's had pads of name tags so you can write that on it. Legacies is a home run. Oh, great. Awesome question, Brian. I meant to announce this and I forgot. Will there be any samples of non-released figures at ToyCon that we can get an up-close look at, like the Armory or Ox Crew? Absolutely. So all 4 of the LegionsCon figures will be at ToyCon New Jersey this weekend. So that is this weekend here in New Jersey. It's one of the reasons I'm here in New Jersey for a visit. This takes place this Saturday and Sunday. I believe that's the 27th and 28th. That is in Montclair, New Jersey, at a very cool place called Lackawanna Station, like an old train station, I guess. But we will have those there. We will have the Armory figures, and I'm not sure what else, but we'll have a bunch of cool prototypes that are not in hand yet that people can check out and see. Try to see if there's any other comments that we want to talk about here before we call it an evening.
Joe, do you have some more?
No, he's just taking pictures.
Okay.
Taking shots of all the swaps that we've done tonight, and then hopefully we can post them after the show.
Nice.
So people will have to go in and go do screenshots over again.
Perfect.
So if you're asking any merch for the con, if you mean beyond the figures that we just showed, actually, if you check out RetroRagsLimited.com, they've got some very cool T-shirts. So those Crossroads figures that we looked at earlier, they actually have some really cool shirts there. They've got one shirt that's got all 4 of the Crossroads keepers. And then kind of the story behind that is if you get to these Crossroads, you have to pick which one of those guardians, which one of those keepers you want to go up against. So we thought it'd be really cool if we had individual shirts of the keeper so you could genuinely choose your path. We're going to have everybody who buys those wear them at LegionsCon on one of the days. I think we said the Sunday. Everyone will wear them. So it'll be all decked out in those shirts and we kind of see everyone's Crossroads selections. The shirts that we're wearing, these are actually from RetroRagsLimited.com. So definitely check them out. Get all of your Legions gear. They are our official apparel licensee.
Lots of cool stuff.
Let's see. Will there be a stream schedule before LegionsCon? We'll announce, I just told you it starts at 10 o'clock, but we'll post all information about that. And that will be, this is being live streamed on both the Mythic Customs channel tonight and on the Four Horsemen channel. G-Con is live streamed just on the Four Horsemen channel. Thousand Swigs is on the Sunday. We're going to be releasing that full calendar of what's happening when as well. Actually, we got Eric Miller in the chat saying, I couldn't be more ecstatic seeing the finished product with Scaphoid. It's such an honor to get to bring version 2 of one of my favorite characters to fruition. Yeah, Eric did a great job. And we should actually mention Cameron's the one that painted Sir Valgard.
Yes.
So he did a great job on that.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, they both look amazing. How early to get there for G-Con? I mean, again, there was standing room last year, so there were people standing in the back of the room, at least until other people got up later. If you really want to get prime seating, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, probably, as crazy as that sounds. It's as crazy as it sounds to wait in line for 2 to 3 hours. The line is full of other Legions fans, so you end up just passing the time talking about how excited you are for everything.
Yeah, you're just hanging out.
You're just hanging out, really. Exactly. It's not that much different.
Yeah.
We got a wish of good night from Serbia.
Wow.
3 a.m. It's 3 after midnight here, and for some time for some sleep. Well, thank you very much for joining us all the way from Serbia.
That's my bedtime.
Just again, a lot of people in the comments saying that this is their first LegionsCon.
That's great.
Yeah, dude, I'm super excited for that. We've always said that our goal with LegionsCon is if you come to LegionsCon, we want you to have such a great time that you can't imagine missing a subsequent year. And if you do miss LegionsCon and you see all of the kind of coverage from it, you want to come next year. So seeing so many people coming for the first time is very, very exciting. Jeremy saying, I'm going to be on a plane Wednesday night. Do I need to pay for internet to catch Mythic Custom? So we haven't released the full schedule for Mythic Week yet, but once again, big surprise, you're going to be on the show more times before G-Con. But yeah, we're going to do like we do every single year. It's actually been an honor that Mythic Customs or Mythic Conversations kicks off Mythic Week. We've been doing that for a number of years. Because interns on Thursday, I just kind of fell into that default slot, but it's been a great time. The fact that people are at the hotel, like around the fire pit, watching Mythic Conversations, it's very, very cool. Yeah, I love that. So yes, now we will be doing that absolutely again.
A lot of people talk about how LegionsCon is like a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is like, it's kind of like that. You've got your list of traditions that happen with it. And it really is like the kickoff to the holiday weekend, basically.
And a buttload of work to get the house together.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of cooking.
So I got a couple questions. Will badges be given out on Thursday or possibly Friday afternoon? So if you come to intern for a day, if you're an intern, and by the way, if you are not an intern, do not come to the studio this year. Last year, we kind of let a little bit slide. We had a few more people here than we expected. I'm going right on record now. I know who the interns are this year. I will be checking names at the door. Please don't make it awkward for me or you. If you come to the door and you're not an intern, Sir Ukchak is going to politely ask you to please vacate the premises. I'm not the bad guy. He is. I'm fine with it. But no, if you are at intern for a day, we will allow you to get your badges early. I'll scan you and I'll give you your badges right here. If you are not part of intern, early badge pickup is going to be at the hotel on Friday night. So between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. on the Friday, you'll be able to get your badges scanned. And that's kind of one of the advantages of buying in advance. Because if you wait to get them at the door, you have to wait in that admission line. Right? So instead of getting in one of the lines for the Armory experience or the Four Horsemen store or the main ballroom or the LegionsCon exclusives, those are all options that you can get in that line first and get that done right away. If you don't pick up your badge in advance, if you don't pre-purchase your badge, you don't get the chance to do that. So Friday night, we will have advanced badge pickup. So on Saturday morning, you can get right into the line that you want to start with. And as we get closer to LegionsCon, I will do a show where we talk all about this stuff. With that, we are at 9 o'clock. Joe, do you have any last comments? Eric, anyone have any last things they want to say?
I'm tapped out over here. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Wow. It's an overload. I'm telling everybody, you're not ready.
I'm going to leave everyone with this comment that someone said. Alex said, what Jeremy said sounds like marketing, but it's totally true. It's, guys, it's in my title. I'm the director of sales and marketing, but it's an absolute joy to be able to market and sell stuff that we absolutely believe in. We're just kind of saying like, hey, this stuff is awesome. We hope you think it's awesome too. And we want to share it with you. So yes, the stuff I say does sound like marketing, but it is also true. Very profound statement.
It makes it easy to market.
It does.
I mean, as I said earlier, we do stuff because we think it's cool, because we like it. So, you live and die by that.
And with that, Joe's going to join us back here.
I also want to give a special thanks to Brad Treadaway for setting up the Joe Cam today. We're going to, do the best we can and getting better shots and better audio and all that. So thanks for sticking around and setting it all up.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I'll be back next week. Other cool stuff to talk about. Hope to see you at LegionsCon. Bye.
Solid.
And then I forgot.